Good evening. My name is Caterina Faquinos, and I'm an alumnus of John F. Kennedy High School, and I have the fondest memories of my time during the Advanced Science Research Program. And it has also brought me tremendous joy to have been invited back tonight. It was June 2nd, 2005, when my life changed forever. As a young girl, I had been praying for a baby sister, and on that day, my prayer had finally been answered. As we grew up, we shared every moment together, and my sister instantly developed a very charismatic personality. She was eager to laugh with us, and she gradually became the entertainer of the family. The two of us would put on shows together and performances, and had a love for music and dancing. After our performances, she would always give me beauty treatments. We're not just sisters, we are also best friends. We have bonded so much since her birth, and we have become inseparable and glued together by life experiences and amazing moments. After 17 years together, I can say that some things never truly change, but just develop over time. My sister's charismatic personality has led her to taking on numerous leadership positions, and she now serves as the president of the youth group of our parish. She has volunteered countless hours at old age homes, the Ronald McDonald House, and fundraisers. Her passion for music and dance continues, as she has served as an executive board member of the John F. Kennedy High School Band and as the captain of the John F. Kennedy Kickline team. During her 4 years on the team and 2 years as captain, her hours spent towards choreographing and practicing with her teammates led JFK into winning competitions across Long Island. Her inclination towards practicing skincare has also been cultivated. And although I had been her test subject for many years, and continue to be, during her sophomore year, she began seeing her own patients at her local dermatology office. Her area of research is now concentrated on skin cancer, as she has studied the preventative treatments on squamous cell carcinoma through the manipulation of actinic keratoses as it correlates to social history and actinic keratoses treatments. My sister has managed to teach me many things and has exhibited an unending inspiration to live life to the fullest. I am beyond proud of her, and I anticipate many more amazing achievements as she continues her academic career at Hofstra University. It is my honor to introduce my sister, Natalia Faquinos.
Good evening. My name is Natalia Faquinos. Did you know that there are 5.4 million melanoma and non-melanoma skin cancer rates that occur globally? When I was first studying dermatology, this statistic became extremely alarming to me, which is why I was inspired to conduct my research on preventative treatments on squamous cell carcinoma through the manipulation of actinic keratoses as it correlates to social history and AK treatments. Squamous cell carcinoma is the second most common form of non-melanoma skin cancer. Squamous cell carcinomas are formed from pre-skin cancer cells, also known as actinic keratoses, and these AK lesions are seen as patchy and scaly lesions on the skin. A higher amount of AK and SCCs are due to an overexposure of ultraviolet radiation, and factors that could lead to this overexposure would be altitude, latitude, and ozone depletion. The frequent, more specifically daily use of sunscreen has been shown to reduce the risk of developing a non-melanoma skin cancer. There are options for lesion-directed therapies, and these include cryotherapy and photodynamic therapy. This led me to my objective, to determine if the destruction of AKs through cryotherapy, social history, and altitude have an effect in the preventing SCC development. In order to conduct my research, I collected 185 de-identified medical files. 155 of these medical files were collected from New York, more specifically sea level, and 30 of these medical files were collected from Colorado, more specifically a place with a higher altitude. There was an inclusion criteria for this study. Each patient had to be diagnosed and/or receive treatment with AK or SCC and had to be over the age of 18 years old. I conducted a data analysis portion of my study, and this included to determine the development between the relationship of SCC and cryotherapy, age, smoking, sunscreen use, and altitude. Figure 1 shows the relationship between smoking and the general population of people who developed SCC. There was a higher statistically significant difference in the smoking population with a p-value less than 0.05 that developed SCC in comparison to the general population. Figure 2 shows a relationship between no sunscreen use versus the general population of people who developed SCC. There was a higher statistically significant percentage of people who developed SCC who did not apply sunscreen in comparison to the general population with a p-value less than 0.05. Figure 3 shows a development with the relationship of cryotherapy versus the general population developing SCC. Figure 3 shows that on the cryotherapy side, patients who underwent cryotherapy had a lower statistically significant chance of developing an SCC in comparison to the general population with a p-value less than 0.05. Figure 4 shows a relationship between age versus the development of SCC. For 71 to 100-year-old category, there was a higher statistically significant chance of developing SCC in comparison to the lower age group, as well as the general population. Figure 5 shows the percentage of developing SCC over 6 lesions in New York versus Colorado. For people in Colorado, they developed SCC at a higher statistically significant rate in comparison to people who lived in New York. Due to harmful ingredients in cigarettes, such as tobacco and nicotine, it damaged skin elasticity and health, which increased the chance of developing an SCC. Sunscreen protects the skin by absorbing ultraviolet radiation before it can penetrate the skin, and this would explain why there are higher SCC rates in people who did not apply sunscreen daily. With patients with more than 10 lesions, they were more vulnerable to developing an SCC because they did not treat their skin in its early stages. As one ages, their skin undergoes many changes that reduces the skin's blockade from the sun, resulting in higher SCC rates. Individuals from Colorado diagnosed with AKs had a higher number of lesions due to the higher altitude and more exposure from ultraviolet radiation. A limitation to the study would be that due to time constraints, there was a smaller sample size from the sample of data from Colorado. Future research that can be continued after the study would be to determine if the effect of other cancerogenic substances, more specifically, such as nicotine found in e-cigarettes or vaping devices, have any effect in the development of a squamous cell carcinoma. In conclusion, this study found that social history components such as tobacco smoking, poor sunscreen use, and older age have been shown to increase the risk of developing an SCC. Especially for individuals that are living in a higher altitude, it is imperative that they wear sunscreen frequently in order to reduce the risk of developing an SCC. It is also vital for people to get yearly body scans with a dermatologist and self-check their bodies in order to determine if there are any suspicious lesions on their skin that can be treated in earlier stages. I would like to thank my mentors, Dr. Dimitra Papadopoulos and Dr. Gregory Papadayas, my research teacher, Mrs. Frank, and my family for their unconditional love and support. These are my references. Thank you.